The Arizona Cardinals select.
The Cincinnati Bengals select.
With the first selection in the first round, the New York Jets select.
Draft season is upon us, and every year we seem to get a few surprises.
Wow!
2024 could bring us a top 5 wideout. Certainly a strong pool of young prospects to choose from, but does it work taking a receiver that high? There have been some studs, no doubt, but also a fair share of flops. We've narrowed down this group to the modern era, but we'll hit some of the big names pre-1970 later on. So without further ado, we ask the question, what happened to every wide receiver picked top 5 of the draft? The Bengals got themselves a good one in Jamar Chase. Paired with his college teammate Joe Burrow, Chase won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2021, helping Cincy get all the way to Super Bowl 56. Chase set a rookie record for receiving yards, since broken by Puka Nacua. The LSU product has reached 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons, making the Pro Bowl every year.
Quick throw, slant caught by Chase, runs to the 30, breaks out of the pass, he's sprinting down the middle of the field. Ravens 10, touchdown!
Not quite the same outcome for Corey Davis and the Titans. After leaving college as the FBS all-time leader in receiving yards, Davis failed to produce at a high level as a pro. While he did have his moments, the Titans let Davis hit free agency after his rookie contract expired. He last played with the Jets in 2022. We've seen worse misses, though.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Justin Blackmon, wide receiver, Oklahoma State.
Two-time Biletnikoff Award winner Justin Blackmon was a freak of nature at Oklahoma State. Hoping to get the next Dez Bryant, Jacksonville got one of the biggest draft busts in recent memory. The unfortunate part is that the talent was there.
And he has time, launches this pass, and it will be caught! Justin Blackmon, and he breaks a tackle! He's on the run! Blackmon's at the 30, he's at the 20, he's at the 10, 5, touchdown Jacksonville!
Blackmon had 236 yards in that game alone as a rookie. He put up 190 in another game the following season, but off-the-field issues completely derailed his career. Multiple arrests and 3 violations of the NFL's substance abuse policy led to an indefinite suspension for the former number 5 pick. He appeared in just 20 games.
Looking, steps into the pocket, throws it as far as he can, and it is deflected and blocked, and into the end zone. Oh, a touchdown from Jerry Butler. Oh, what a play!
The Bills found a future Pro Bowler in Jerry Butler when they took him 5th overall in 1979. In this game against the Jets in his rookie year, Butler hauled in 10 catches for a team record 255 yards and 4 touchdowns. The former Clemson Tiger totaled over 2,500 receiving yards in his first 3 seasons. Butler's career would be curtailed by injuries, though. He played in just 43 games from 1982 to 1986, leading to an early retirement.
It's that screen pass again to Hirsch, and Mr. Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch is touchdown bound.
Ah, the legend known as Crazy Legs. Going old school for a brief history lesson, Elroy Hirsch was the 5th overall selection by the Cleveland Rams all the way back in 1945. His 1951 season is considered one of the best ever for a receiver, regardless of era. Back when they were playing chuck it ball, Hirsch amassed nearly 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns at over 22 yards per catch. He had almost 700 more yards than the second-place receiver that year. That would be like going for 2,500 today. And oh, by the way, the Rams went on to win the 1951 NFL title. Moving on.
With the 4th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Amari Cooper.
On to the group of number 4 overall picks. We'll kick it off with Amari Cooper. You can all but guarantee production out of the former Alabama receiver. Since he entered the league in 2015, Cooper has averaged 74 catches, about 1,000 yards, and 7 touchdowns per season. It's as automatic as it gets.
Pass here, it's caught, and that's Amari Cooper off to the races. Cooper inside the 20, cuts back and takes it in.
Cooper is one of only 2 players in NFL history to have multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons with 3 different teams. The 5-time Pro Bowler is on pace for some massive career numbers.
The Cleveland Browns have traded the 4th pick to the Buffalo Bills. With the 4th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins looked to be a fantastic haul for the Bills when they traded up for him in 2014, 2,000 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. But a slew of nagging injuries and inconsistent play led the Bills to trade the former number 4 pick to LA in 2017. Watkins would sign a free agent deal with the Chiefs in 2018, joining a loaded offense. He won Super Bowl 54 with Kansas City but had trouble staying on the field. 5 teams in a 9-year career for Watkins, not exactly what you'd hope for with a top 5 pick.
The Cincinnati Bengals select A.J. Green.
Studs abound in the 2011 draft. You had Cam Newton, Von Miller, Patrick Peterson, and A.J. Green, and that's just in the top 5. 10 years before they drafted Jamar Chase, the Bengals struck gold on Green, the uber-talented playmaker from Georgia. He was an instant hit and made the Pro Bowl in each of his first 7 seasons.
Dalton throws, A.J. Green at the 50, Green off to the races, Green still going, A.J. Green at the 5, touchdown!
Green averaged close to 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns per season from 2011 to 2017. He's second in Bengals history in career catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Rewind 11 years for another Cincy number 4 pick. Florida State's Peter Warrick was sensational with the Noles, winning a national title in 1999. But his pro career didn't turn out as expected. By no means a bust, the fact was the Bengals just weren't very good. Warrick was on the winning side of just 12 games in his first 3 seasons. He caught 253 passes from 2000 to 2003, but never had a 1,000-yard season, not ideal for the 4th overall pick.
Lets it go. He's got 3 people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Touchdown! Caught by Westbrook for a touchdown!
Colorado's Michael Westbrook had the size and skill of an all-pro wideout, but his luck ran out in the NFL. He had exactly 34 catches in each of his first 3 campaigns and just 6 total touchdowns. Injuries were a big factor. He played only 46 games through his first 4 seasons, but that wasn't the end of the story.
Play fake. Johnson going for the home run. It's there. It's touchdown, Westbrook.
He rebounded with almost 2,000 total receiving yards from 1998 to 1999. Westbrook ended up playing 7 years in the nation's capital, but never blossomed into an NFL star. 3 years before they took Westbrook, Washington missed on another college legend.
Longest punt return in Michigan history. I caught a pose here that seems kind of familiar.
Washington took Heisman Trophy winner Desmond Howard 4th overall in 1992, and it's safe to say it didn't pan out. Howard was out after just 3 seasons and 6 total touchdowns. His skills as a pass catcher never translated to the NFL, but he revived his career doing what he did best in college, returning kicks.
Kick goes to Desmond Howard at the 1. Desmond Howard is off.
Howard shockingly won Super Bowl 31 MVP and led the league in punt return yardage and touchdowns in 1996. He went on to make a Pro Bowl in Detroit, finishing his career with over 12,000 all-purpose yards. The Eagles took a swing on Penn State's Kenny Jackson in the 1984 draft, but it never materialized for the number 4 pick. Jackson did play 8 seasons in the NFL, but the production wasn't there. He finished his career with just over 2,100 total receiving yards and 11 touchdowns.
5 seconds left. Kramer back to pass. He's going deep down the right side, and it is fought for, and it's touchdown! Rashad! I don't believe it!
Before he was Ahmad Rashad, before he was a Minnesota Viking, and before he was the host of NBA Inside Stuff, Robert Earl Moore was the St. Louis Cardinals' 4th overall pick in 1972. It was tough sledding early on. The former Oregon Duck was eventually traded to Buffalo, then Minnesota, where his career took off. Then known as Ahmad Rashad, he made 4 straight Pro Bowls from 1978 to 1981, retiring with the most catches in team history. We're back in Buffalo, who seem to love their receivers in the top 5. The 1971 draft saw the Bills take a chance on Arizona State's J.D. Hill. Like Jerry Butler and Sammy Watkins after him, Hill's career showed flashes as he made a Pro Bowl in his 2nd season.
J.D. became a complete player by learning to crack back on blocks for Saban's running game, and his 52 receptions earned him an invitation to the Pro Bowl. J.D. Hill is destined to become one of the big game breakers in the NFL.
But you won't find staggering numbers here. Buffalo was a run-oriented team in a ground-and-pound era. Hill played 7 NFL seasons, gaining almost 3,000 receiving yards. Let's backtrack a bit and shout out 2 phenomenal picks from the 1960s. Cleveland hit big on Maryland's Gary Collins with the 4th overall pick in 1962. Collins had 4 seasons with double-digit receiving touchdowns. And oh yeah, he also served as the Browns' punter for 6 seasons.
He was a dazzling halfback with moves to spare. Taylor slashed through the middle. Flaring out of the backfield, he was a 4th end and a linebacker's nemesis.
Technically drafted as a halfback 3rd overall, we're including Charlie Taylor here because the man did it all. He had over 1,500 yards from scrimmage as a rookie and 635 catches from 1964 to 1975, by far the most in the NFL. He made 8 Pro Bowls in Washington and went on to the Hall of Fame.
The Cleveland Browns select Braylon Edwards, wide receiver, Michigan.
A Michigan man in Ohio? It wasn't the best start for Braylon Edwards and the Browns. He struggled early on as Cleveland shuffled quarterbacks. But Edwards broke out in 2007, totaling almost as many receiving yards as his first 2 seasons combined.
Anderson's got time. He's got a man wide open down the left sideline. What a catch by Braylon Edwards! And he goes in for a touchdown!
He went for nearly 1,300 yards and a whopping 16 touchdowns, second most in the league. The Pro Bowler was traded to the Jets in 2009, where he helped New York get to back-to-back AFC Championship games. But if you took away that 07 campaign, Edwards had just 24 total touchdowns in his other 7 NFL seasons. Drops were a major concern too, as he had a league record 19 of them in both 2007 and 2008.
With the 3rd choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver, University of Pittsburgh.
Arizona got themselves a future Hall of Famer and a top 5 wide receiver of all time back in 2004. The former Pitt Panther led the league in catches at age 22, then again at age 33. The 2008 playoffs were Larry Fitzgerald's Mona Lisa, though, as Fitz produced one of the greatest postseasons we've ever seen.
Warner has time. Fitzgerald into Steeler territory. Arizona has the lead.
30 catches, 546 yards, and 7 touchdowns in an epic 4-game stretch. Fitz would retire with the 2nd most catches and receiving yards in NFL history, only behind Jerry Rice. And he did all that while catching passes from 22 different quarterbacks over a 17-year career. From one Canton-bound star to another, we take a look back at the greatest receiver in Texans history. Houston selected Miami Hurricane Andre Johnson with the 3rd pick in the 2003 draft, and boy did it pay off.
Andre Johnson across the 40, 35 to his right 30, 25, 20, rock and roll! The Texans win it!
Johnson is one of only 5 players in NFL history with 3 separate 1,500-yard receiving seasons. He led the league in receiving in both 2008 and 2009, making impossible catches look routine.
Shaw looking in the end zone. Johnson! Oh my! Touchdown! What a catch!
In a legendary 14-year career, Johnson racked up nearly 1,100 catches, over 14,000 yards, and 70 touchdowns. You have to backtrack all the way to 1978. That's when the Saints took Florida's Wes Chandler, a sensational player for over a decade.
Good protection from Manning. Lets it go. He's got Chandler.
Chandler made the Pro Bowl in his 2nd season with the Saints, but he was shipped off to San Diego in 1981. Playing in Air Coryell's pass-happy offense, Chandler was dynamite in SoCal. His 82 campaign was one for the ages. In a strike-shortened season, Chandler amassed over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns in just 8 games.
It's Chandler! Did he catch it? Yes! Oh my! 3 touchdowns, the hat trick for Chandler.
From 1979 to 1985, Chandler had the 2nd most touchdown catches in the NFL. We really should talk about him more. Okay, on to the 2nd overall picks.
The Detroit Lions take wide receiver Calvin Johnson, Georgia Tech.
At 6'5", nearly 240 pounds, Calvin Johnson clocked a 4.35 40-yard dash in 2007. Detroit struck gold on one of the best athletes to ever grace an NFL field. Johnson tied for the league lead in touchdown catches in year 2, and while we could spout off a bunch of numbers, you really need to see it to believe it.
Matthew rolls the pocket to the right, pumps, now comes back to the left, looking deep, throw into the end zone, wants Calvin, well covered, he goes up, he makes the catch, are you kidding me? Oh, Megatron, you did it again!
Johnson set a single season record for receiving yards in 2012. He made 6 straight Pro Bowls to end his career and left at the top of his game after 9 seasons. The late Charles Rogers was amazing for the Michigan State Spartans and in turn became Detroit's number 2 overall pick in 2003. But it didn't work out for the Lions as the former All-American battled a rash of injuries and ran into off-the-field trouble. Rogers played just 15 games in 3 NFL seasons. Didn't pan out for former Olympian Johnny Lamb Jones and the Jets either. Before he went to the University of Texas, Jones won a gold medal at the 1976 Olympic Games in track and field. No doubt the speed was there.
Todd rolls to the right, back to pass. He is throwing deep for Lamb. He has it at the 50. 10-5 touchdown. Johnny Lamb Jones.
But inconsistent play was the story of his NFL career. The number 2 overall pick in 1980 totaled just over 2,300 receiving yards in 5 seasons with New York.
With the first selection in the first round, the New York Jets select Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver, Southern California.
This was the last time a wide receiver was taken number 1 overall. USC's Keyshawn Johnson had one of the most consistent careers you'll ever see at the position. At least 800 yards in 10 seasons.
Goes deep left side, Keyshawn Johnson. Got it! He got it!
Keyshawn had back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons with the Jets, but was sent to Tampa Bay in a blockbuster trade before the 2000 season. He won a Super Bowl with the Bucs before falling out of favor with their coaching staff. Johnson reunited with Bill Parcells for a couple productive seasons in Dallas later in 2004 and 2005. In all, Keyshawn made 3 Pro Bowls and had over 10,000 career receiving yards. Let's hit another pre-modern era standout taken with the first overall pick.
And it's Parks. Goes into orbit with a dazzling over-the-shoulder catch that shakes up Chicago.
In 1965, San Francisco's Dave Parks won the NFL's receiving triple crown. 80 catches, over 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. He was a Pro Bowler in each of his first 3 seasons. We can't lie, the 1984 draft was one of the weakest of all time, due in large part to the upstart USFL. Huge college stars like Steve Young suddenly had options. To date, no player from the '84 NFL draft is in the Hall of Fame, but that's not to say there weren't some great players.
There's a long ball downfield to Irving Fryer, up for grabs, and Irving might have gotten it on the ground. What a sensational catch! That ball never hits the ground.
The Patriots took Nebraska's Irving Fryer first overall and found themselves a reliable playmaker for 9 seasons. Fryer seemed to get better as his career went along. From ages 22 to 30, he racked up over 5,700 receiving yards and 38 touchdowns. Not too shabby, but get this. From age 30 to 38, he had over 7,800 yards and 50 touchdowns. Not your typical career.
Ty Detmer has a long time. And what a catch! One-handed catch by Irving Fryer with a one-handed grab.
Fryer played from 1984 to 2000 and had the 5th most receiving yards in the league in that span. And there you go, every wideout taken with a top 5 draft pick in the modern era. Will the next selection be a boom or a bust? Can't wait to see.